Well, arriving in Tokyo, my first stop was in Roppongi. It was my first taste of Japan. After doing a bit of sightseeing in Tokyo, I then left for Hokkaido. So I arrived in Sapporo, my first stop in Hokkaido, and there they have a snow festival. Snow and ice sculptures. I had never seen the likes before. They were, just stunning. The city, fine big city, modern, and it's the home of beer, Sapporo beer. I took a small sample of that, not too much. From Sapporo, we then travel with my unique Japan tour guide. We travelled to Kushiro. Our hotel was the Crown Plaza. Very nice hotel, overlooking the port. In Kushiro, they have these cranes, a red crown crane. They are fabulous bird, the size of maybe a swan. But they have human characteristics, that they stand quite tall and they do a dance. To see them was quite an early start. 4 a.m. start to catch them, see them do a flight and dance on a riverbed at dawn. We also visited them in a sanctuary where they pair them off to breed and to ensure that the species survive. We then went out for some food and some drinks. There we met a few local ladies and had great fun. And of course, photographs had to be taken. And great fun. From Kushiro, we then travelled to Akan, which is the home of the Aino tribe, which is an indigenous tribe of Hokkaido. Their features are quite similar to maybe Maori or Polynesian in look. The small town has a lovely street with wooden buildings, and their crafts are all wooden crafts for sale. Also, to the rear of our hotel is a frozen lake, where you can do fishing through a small hole in the lake, ice fishing. On arrival on Akan, we stayed in a fabulous hotel, going in the front door to be wowed by Japanese ladies dressed in kimono dresses and bowing profusely and greeting us. So really, you felt so special. There are hot springs there, and that overlook there's part of the lake, and that with baths and saunas, and hot baths and saunas, and steam rooms and whatever. The only the only difference between it and one in Ireland would be that you go around naked with ladies working in it and minding their own business. Another feature of the hotel was also that they had an onsen on at the ground level, at the level of the lake, and they also had one on the 10th floor. The men would be in the basement while the women were on the 10th floor, and vice versa 8 hours later. We then went to I know show, the indigenous people. We watched the performance for about half an hour. We went for a few beers in a local bar on our way back to the hotel, and stumbled in on 4 guys from Okinawa Islands, which are the most southern islands of Japan. Well, we didn't have to buy too much beer. They were more than generous and friendly and taking pictures and whatever. And good Irish crack was had by the Japanese. We left Akan and we headed up to Lake Kishiro, whereby another frozen lake. But the unique part of this lake was that there was an outdoor onsen with hot water at the edge of a frozen lake, where you could strip off and go into the lake, and share it with whooper swans. The whooper swans were enjoying the warm and hot water as much as the public were, and we had terrific photo opportunities and video opportunities playing around with the swans. The road trip from Lake Kishiro to Abashiri, which was our next stop, was stunning and spectacular through up mountainside and down into the port of Abashiri. On checking into our hotel, dump our bags, and we then had a trip on an icebreaker, a boat that brought it out on the sea, which was covered with freshwater ice that flowed down from a river in Russia. The wow factor to this was that it was a seaside beach, but frozen ice right up to the coastline. And this icebreaker boat brought you out through all this ice, which was the ice was all covered with snow, and it looked like a lunar landscape, but ice and snow. Again in Abashiri, they had their own miniature little snow festival, quite similar to the one in Sapporo, but obviously a lot smaller. They had a little maze built from snow, and they had the usual big display of snow carvings and ice carvings. Little men, cartoon characters made out of snow. The next morning we leave the hotel and we go to a prison, which allegedly is the Alcatraz of Japan. Prison had, it was fairly stunning prison in the sense that the size and scale of it, it showed the wings, they showed the cells and solitary confinements, the thing all done in wood, and yeah, it was a bit unique. The prison also had its own farm and vegetable garden, whereby they could grow all the various foods that they would need in the prison. So they had their machinery, all wooden ploughs, all wooden drill and sowers, and all the paraphernalia that goes with a farm. We went to a lighthouse that would be similar to a lighthouse we'd have back home, but on arrival at the lighthouse, you see dunes and rough grasses, but the panoramic view out over ice and snow, is fairly unique. Looking out on a sea of snow and ice right up to the coastline. Beautiful views and scenery. So from there we went down to the train station where we boarded an old train and we headed out along the coastline. You could see the ice and the snow right up to the coastline and arrive at an old station. It was a short little trip, but it was kind of going back in time, what the trains were like, what the old stations were like, and stepping out. There's a watchtower where you can go up and take videos and photographs of the track down below and it running along the edge of the coastline. We got a taxi anyway back into town where they had a street festival with food and beer and all the locals having a good time. Yeah, stalls with meat and vegetables, raw meat and vegetables, and you purchase a little bit of whatever food you want, and they had and the streets were lined with little barbecues, and you sat down and you cooked your food and drank your beer and with the locals. We met up with two families with their kids and sat down with them, and we had great fun with them, laughing and they sharing their sauces and their vegetables and their food, and the table next door offer giving us some of their food, and we had great fun. Right, we left out the heaven bit.
Okay, Hokkaido. This Hokkaido.
We can put it in after, but let's keep going on this one.